You're highly welcome to Future Setters Institute Youth Development Show. And today we are going to be interacting on how to build a valuable business in a competitive market. You observe that a lot of young people, they just see businesses here and there, they just do it, they start working and start building their business. But something just comes up, which is the aspect of a competitor. A competitor just comes into the scene. I mean, they just see someone that starts that same business is doing. And what happens? They are confused. They begin to reason, think of ideas. What can we do to to change the narrative? What can we do to make this business thrive? Begin to think. They are thinking. But what happens? This competitor already prepared good strategies. This competitor already prepared great ideas that is going to use to overshadow you. So if you don't know how to overcome these challenges, you will be left out. That is why we decided to bring up this program so that you will know and learn some important strategies that can help you thrive. Because you don't just have to sit down and be comfortable. No one has to be comfortable. Even the big businesses are not comfortable because they know that they have to create new pathways. They have to work on advertisement. They have to work on a lot of things to thrive. So that's why, like I said, listen to us. You are going to learn a lot. We have a very great speaker. Yeah, we have a very great speaker, which I'm going to introduce to you. And today is going to be very interactive. It's going to be filled with a lot of things to learn, a lot of ideas, a lot of strategies. Feel free, be happy, and stay with us. Future Setters Institute is a place where young minds are groomed on three core niches. They are groomed on leadership, personal development, and work ethics. Yes, we want you to thrive. We want you to be your best self. We want you to make a huge difference in the world. So, what do we do? We organize youth development shows regularly. We organize programs for young individuals so that they can do well. So if we just see problems happening all around us and we just fold our arms and not do anything about it, then we are not doing well, right? So we have to create a pathway, something that can bring young people together, make them think, make them actually do things, share their experiences, share their story, so that they can impact the life of other young persons out there. So stay with us. I'm going to be introducing today a very great speaker in the person of Dr. Imthyaz Sheriff, who is a very great speaker, a professional in what he does, and he's going to talk to us. He's going to share his own strategy, share his own processes that he used to really build out his business, how he was able to overcome competition, how he was able to overcome competition in his field because he is a founder and CEO of his company. Definitely you are going to know about ideasyn today. You know about ideasyn, what ideasyn stands for. So once more, you are highly welcome, Dr. Imthyaz Sheriff.
Thank you. Thank you, Victor, for this invite, an opportunity to share our lessons and learnings with the larger community across the world. So let's get started on like what what business can grow in the competitive market and what challenges and what kind of approach that is required to overcome those kind of challenges. So I'm more than happy to answer any questions that you have and share a little bit of knowledge on what we have done and how we have been able to successfully grow in the competitive market. Victor,
Okay. So today, like I said, we are going to be interacting on how to build a valuable business in a competitive market. So you have to know the steps that can help you thrive in this particular area. So today, you so So today you'll be wondering, how can I build a valuable business in a competitive market? So we have some strategies, we have some steps which I'm going to share with you. You were to listen to me. The first question says, is competition a good thing or a bad thing? So you'll be asking yourself, is competition really good or is it bad? Actually, competition,
I think Victor, we lost you there. So you were talking about competition as to how businesses have to look at competition in general, whether it is good or bad. So one thing says that any kind of business you are into, competition has a good role to play. It kind of drives innovation into that market domain. It kind of helps you to offer better kind of products, better kind of services to the customer, and customer also has gains by it by having a wide variety of choice in a competitive market. And without competition in place, what happens to businesses is that they take things for granted, be it their customer or the product that they deliver or the way they deliver their service ecosystem. And when they take that for granted, the kind of inefficiencies that get built into the system, which eventually results in profit reduction, losses into the equation. So only when you have a competition, you will always work on offering a better customer experience, better product, better service to the customer. In that way, competition is always healthy and helps you keep things in check, and it also helps you build efficiencies in your business system, which eventually leads to better profitability in your own business. At the same time, it should also be realized that competition can also, depending on the nature of business, competition can also lead to certain kind of unethical practices on how you acquire the customer, or result in kind of price wars, like reduction of prices to get the customer, that need not be very sustainable. We have seen it all across the world, especially in markets like telecom providers, on where the tariff reduction is happening to beat the competition and also acquire the same amount of customers. So there are downsides to competition, but predominantly competition is healthy. It helps you always know adapt to new changes, disruption, innovate, build efficiencies in your product offering and services, and grow in a collaborative way. I hope the question is answered on how competition impacts business in general. And customer also think, go ahead, Victor. You're audible now.
All right. So competition is a good thing. For me, I feel it's a good thing because we have to understand that if people bring they just start up a business now or they just start up something, they have to understand that that person that started it may just want to overtake you. So if this person wants to overtake you, you don't just sit down and watch it happen. You have to think of new strategies, new ways that you can use. So I will share some a story, or I'll give some instances. While I was working in a secondary school, while I was working in secondary school in Nigeria here, there are also government schools around. What happened? It got to a level that the secondary school was now having less students compared to the government school. Then the principal asked, he was like, what happened? Why is it like this? What can we do? What can we do to work on this situation? Then people were suggesting, how about we try to bring in sporting activities? How about we try to bring in recreational activities, certain things that can actually make people interested? How about we bring laboratory, maybe for example laboratory, or maybe practicals, people that, because that school does not do practical and that government school does not do practical, how about we bring practicals to the situation? How about we try to work on bringing skill acquisition? We train them on certain skills. These are things that happen because when you observe now that government has the resources, government has the people, the resources, they are not paying, the students are not paying any money. The school is free, but the thing is they are go to that particular school. So you continue to ask yourself, what can we do that competition to work on it? These are things that people have to sit down. You have to sit down to you have to plan very well. Another situation is a supermarket and a mini mart. A supermarket, you have a supermarket now. Supermarket is just there, and now somebody just opened a mini mart opposite the supermarket. What happens? You have to think of some ways, some steps that you can use to overcome that competition. These are things that happen. So competition is a good thing, and also it's a very good thing because you will now start planning ahead. Those things that you never did, those things that you never did, I also give some instances, those things that you've never done before, you begin to do them because a person has now come to challenge you on the situation. So you don't just have to sit down, even if you don't have a competition, even if you don't have a competitor, act like you have a competitor. Act like you have a competitor. It will help you to really do well, because if we, like I said, don't sit down, don't watch, don't see it, it may just happen that this person has been working behind the scene, has been seeing everything, he knows your weak points, he knows your deficiency, and now he just works and works on it, makes everyone so interested.
Uh,
So we have work at the end of the day, things would work very fine if we we work on it. And also, I still feel you have more points to share. You can just share. I believe you have some things to share as well too. Yeah.
Yeah. So continuing on that note of competition, right? At times you are your best
Yes.
competition. What you were, you are always trying to up your game, become a better version of it in terms of the business, in terms of the performance, the profitability, the expansive nature of business. So there's always a competitor which is you internally. So that is how you'll have to approach any kind of business. And just like the business dynamics are always going to be like today we are facing a lot of disruption on the connectivity. We are connecting, disconnecting. That's how the market also is there. There are always going to be things that are going to be unplanned, that are going to disrupt the flow. But how do we adapt? How do we anticipate things? How do we keep going in terms of the obstacles that we find? That is how the businesses also have to look and adapt to the situation and respond to the volatility. So yeah, let's move on to your questions.
Like you said, a lot of challenges comes, but how can we meet these challenges? How can we solve these problems? That these are things that we have to constantly think about. So I would love to ask, how can one build a valuable business in a competitive market? Can you share some ideas, some tips, some things that people can use to build a valuable business in a competitive market?
See, when you define, there are like four things that you have said. No, valuable business, competitive market. So if you take this thing, first you need to define what you mean by valuable business. So business value can now hold significant worth in terms of whether it is a financial value that you attribute to, or a strategical value, or a social value in the context of where we operate the business. Because value is just not on one aspect of the finance alone. There are multiple phases to that. So once you know what a business value holds for you as a business owner, as a founder, you will then think about how do we sustain that? How do we sustain in the competitive market? So when you say competitive, you have to understand what are the market dynamics. It could be a geographical thing, it could be the domain of the business you operate, but you need to know that irrespective of the nature of business, irrespective of the market that you operate, for you to be sustainable or build a valuable business which can provide value to all the people involved, right from the founders to the employees to the end consumers, you need to showcase strong financial growth. You should be able to scale. The business should be scalable in nature. You should be able to offer something which is of unique value in comparison to your competitor. And you should be able to gradually build a loyal customer base. And the way you run the business over a period of time, your processes, your delivery ecosystem, on how you reach your product or service to the customer, that has to build efficiency. Depending on the nature of the business, you may have certain intellectual property value that generates overall value to the business. And the most important thing, the human capital, the right kind of leadership that you have, the right kind of people team that you build, and what kind of positioning you have in the market. All of this together contribute to defining the value of a business. And in order to start building that kind of value in that business, you will have to first start with understanding what is the gap in the market. Do you have the unique value or product or a service that can fill that gap? Can you build that business in a scalable manner? It cannot be one off thing. I did one sale, two sale. No. Can it be scalable in a longer run? What is the strong brand identity you are building for your business? And doesn't matter whether the product is small or the service is small or big, you will always have to be customer centric. How do you not just provide a value at a low price or at the right price, but what is the customer experience from start to end? how effective your business process in delivering that value to the customer. Is it being done in a very efficient manner? That is in a very cost effective manner. Are your organization people centric? And in today's world for market and technology disruption, are you building a culture of innovation day in and day out? And do we have processes in place where we can monitor and look at the performance indications and how we are faring well in the market? And are we trying to do it alone, or are we building strategic partnerships which can help us to grow and accelerate? Similarly, are we building moats? Typically, are we trying to build and protect the advantage that we have built so far? All said and done, are we incrementally moving towards the mission that we set out for the organization? All of these things will help in over a period of time to build valuable business and stay irrespective of whatever is the competition that the market throws into it. You need to learn to adapt. For example, we can give an example. Like we had started one of our digital businesses pre-COVID. The moment the COVID hit, lot of similar businesses were shutting shop or letting go of people. But we tightened belt. We found that as an opportunity to know work and offer certain services in a much more digitally enabled way. While other organizations were letting go, we were actually in the hiring spree, building a very different kind of delivery model, and we persisted over the COVID. And when we started back, we pivoted in the way that we handle the operations, where most organizations were preparing
Absolutely.
themselves to work from home for longer run. We were actually opening up offices for people to come back, connect, learn together, grow together. So we pivoted, we did something different, which was not being done in the competitive market. So you need to understand what is the kind of unique that you bring into the business. It could be the product, it could be the service, it could be the way you deliver it, it could be your people's ecosystem, or it could be your technology aspects. So there are multi layers which help in how you build a valuable business and still stay very competitive in the market.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, awesome. You spoke really well. And another thing is trying to meet targets. You understand? Trying to meet targets. Some people they set a target for themselves, but they are unable to meet those targets. Things like this also affect competition. So those competitors they know that okay, this person does not meet. He set a target for 10 persons, and at the end of the day, he was only able to meet five. How about I set a target for 15 and I meet 20? So these competitors they are planning ahead. Another thing is they are trying to provide what you cannot do. They are trying to provide what you cannot do. There are certain things that you are saying no, I don't want to do it. But those things that you are saying you don't want to do, those people are willing to do it. They are willing to go the extra mile to provide those things. So that's why you don't have to say I can't do it, I can't do it, I can't do it. Don't say no, I can't do it. This is the time now. When you now see those people, you begin to see some persons in Nigeria here. They are selling clothes. What happened? They don't stay in their stores anymore. Some of their stores are inside. They are deep inside. But they have to come out. They will take their clothes. They will take the clothes at the main road. They will start disturbing everybody along the road. A person that does not even have plans to buy the clothes, we see the beautiful clothes. The way the person markets the clothes will attract you, and then you buy. So you don't just sit down. Like I said, don't sit down and just relax and wait for manna to fall from heaven. No, this is the time for you to start, thinking of how to really improve. So one of them, you have to provide what people want. That means you have to
And
ensure that those things that people want has to be there first. Before maybe they will take it today, they will not take it today. So there are some things that people want right now. They come to your store, oh, I need this thing, and you are like, I don't have it. I don't have it. What happens? Do you lose that person because that people want at that moment they get it? That is one of them. You have to provide things that people want. That is the first thing. Then before you now start providing things that maybe at the end of the day they may just need it at some point in time. So first thing. Then the second
I think Victor, we lost you again.
how effective you are, how smart, how intelligent you are to meet their demand. So you have to ensure that okay, you know the time, right? You have to ensure you deliver on the time. Like I said, open your store early is very much important. Then close late. You open early, but you close late. You understand? Close late. That is, you close. So I'm not saying you should close late, like just close late, but I'm trying to tell you now that open early, open your store early, but you will close at the time that these persons, you know that they are no longer coming again. So that means you have decided to cover all necessary loopholes. There are so many loopholes that exist. So you open early but close late. That means you have to ensure that okay, you meet the demand, you understand how things are now going, because when you now begin to observe all these things, then you have to know how to prepare yourself for these things. You know, provide provide things that are above their expectations. Provide things that are above their expectation. Let's say, for example, their expectation is they need this thing, they need that thing. Then what happens? You even do it, you give them what they want, then you even add some kind of things that makes them more interested in what you do. So before you were being serious, you were frowning your face with them, you were just being too serious with them, you were not playful, you were not cheerful, you were not caring for them and all that. This is the time now that you will now start being caring to them. This is the time to start checking up on them. This is the time to start showing that you really care, because now that you have seen that there is a competitor out there, you have to prepare yourself. So it is not even good for you to start preparing yourself when you have a competitor. You have to prepare yourself before you have a competitor. That means every necessary situation out there, you have to ensure you work, you open your business, you run your business like there is a competitor, an existing competitor, such that you cover up every loophole before you start waiting for someone to come in and start doing those things.
Yeah.
So you ensure that you provide every necessary thing they need at that moment. If it is possible, maybe left to me, if it is possible, you can provide discounts. You can provide discounts if it is possible, because I know that is kind of difficult. But if it is actually possible for you to provide discount for persons that are coming to get a product from you, fine, provide discounts. If maybe, for example, you know that you are not really building a good customer relationship with them, you are not really checking up on them, doing all those things, this is the right time for you to start checking up on those people, showing them that you truly care for them. You understand?
So
So
yeah,
make sure you keep showing up. You are consistent. You make
yeah.
sure that you
So
are
like see,
consistent.
if
You are consistent with
if
the thing.
you are not consistent in serving the customer, if you're not persistent in improving the quality, you create the gap for competitor to come in. So either you serve the customer better, or somebody else is going to come and serve it, and that is how the competition grows. So you'll also have to be always be
That's
innovating
true.
on how better you can serve, how creative you can become, how efficient, how do you bring value to whatever you do. If you're constantly in pursuit of that, then you kind of retain the customer, expand the customer base. If not, you're going to let your competitor take away the customer. So that's how the competition, that's how the market gap, that's how the customer centricity helps you grow the business. So, like now, as you're talking about the competition and all that, there is always the question of no, what are the strategies, what kind of marketing strategies that you need, how do you sustain the business is one question. There's also about doing the business is one thing, but are you able to sustain the business? So this sustainability notion of sustaining the business has to be thought through from a very different perspective. Also, especially from today's world of startups, lot of startups coming in, lot of new age entrepreneurs, first time entrepreneurs are there. So the first thing, everybody has ideas, everybody looks at the market and say this is a gap, but not everybody converts that into an opportunity as a business. So for somewhere, first you need to do is start, start the business with some amount of clarity, and you have to strive. When you say strive, you have to have your ambition, you have to put in your efforts passionately, and try to serve the customer to the best of the abilities. And when you keep trying, there will come a day where you'll also come across challenges. No, you will come across new kind of customer expectation, price challenges, competitive market, other better products or services. So you need, from the striving, putting your efforts, you'll come to a stage where you need to survive. It is like if a striving is level one, surviving in the market alongside other competitor is going to be the level two, where day in and day out, irrespective of the challenges, irrespective of whether you are making profits or not, you continue to serve in the market and survive. Then, once you have refined your products or service offerings, when you have understood the market fit, when you have made build efficient process to deliver, you will eventually succeed. You will meet out your objectives. That will be the level three. You started, you strived hard, you survived, and you eventually succeeded. Now comes the notion of sustenance. You make this success long last. You make success a habit. You make success consistently. That is where you are in the notion of being a sustainable business, where you are not impacted by smaller changes in the market dynamics or smaller addition or deletion of customer or changes in the internal organization. With all the changes happening, you still sustain as a business. That is the level four. Once you have learned how to sustain in the business, that is the next move on to the level of thriving in the business, where you are expanding, you are not worried about uncertainty, you are making good on all with respect to your customers, to your stakeholders, your partners. And that is how the sustainability in the business is built. Start, thrive, survive, succeed, sustain, and then thrive. But in order to do that, you cannot play by the regular playbook of how everybody else is doing. You will have to think little bit differently. That is where your strategies come in. Every business spends a lot of time, effort, money, planning on how to acquire customers. And customer acquisition is always costlier. But one area that most businesses fail is on customer retention. Customer retention is always one area many people lose out. But if you really focus on customer retention, it has multifold advantages. You always have a lifelong customer. Your customer will stay with you because the trust is established, your process is efficient. You lose out customer only when efficiency is not there in the business. So by focusing on those things, you always help in improving the business, improving the profitability, reducing the wastage in the process, and byproduct of which you also retain the customer. Similarly, always don't look at the competitor and see what the competitor is trying to do. Try to create your own niche in terms of the target customer, in terms of the product, so that the playing field is much more good for you. And never compete based on price. Always compete or always show the differentiation of your business based on the value that you provide for the money. It is better quality, better service, better convenience, better experience. All this should be able to justify the price that you put, because it is not always on the price that people look at. People always look at the value that they get for a price. And today, in a digitally connected world, you need to have a digital presence, a digital engagement with the customer, and a digital strategy in place, without which no business today operates. Be it agriculture, medicine, banking, finance, e commerce, there's always a layer of technology that needs to be enabled, that needs to be leveraged. it doesn't matter whether you are into the product or you are into the service segment. How are you going to offer the differentiation? And as today we see, it is a very collaborative world, very connected world. Like how we are now collaborating across regions and boundaries to even have this podcast. We need to build strategic partnerships. The strategic partnerships in business will help business go beyond time, go beyond boundaries and borders. And the technology provides you a lot of quick access data, real time data on the business. That means you can make very good decisions in real time, which are based on data, not based on assumptions. So these kind of strategies will help you build a very strong brand by which you can deliver very localized and personalized experiences to the customers and grow. And while growing, you should also look at, no, we are still talking about sustainability of a business. Sustainability of a business in a longer run. That means your business is going to have revenues coming from multiple streams. It cannot be coming just from one product. It could be coming from multiple products, the combination of product and services. It doesn't matter which domain of business that you are. You should be able to build a multi-source revenue business that will help you reduce your risk, spread your risk, and also build a sustainable business model that can scale eventually. So these are the kind of strategic approaches or thought process that you need to understand and play in the market so that you can build a really sustaining and a business.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. And once more, thank you so much, Dr. Peters. You spoke really well. Like you said, we don't just have to build a business, we also need to sustain it. So sometimes we start up a business this year, but what happens next year? We close down the shop. We closed down the shop because maybe the money we were expecting, the profit we were expecting was not enough, was not up to our expectations. So some of us lifted up our we have some very high expectation. Our expectation of everything. We expect that okay, by next year we'll be having like 10 million, 100 million. Then but next year, what happens? We don't get the money we need. We don't get it. Then what happens? You just feel relaxed and you just feel no, maybe I should just try another business. Then you leave that business, you go into another business. What happens? You still close down the shop again. You close down the shop again, you start another one, you still close down the shop. Then you now know, oh, it's possible that maybe business is not my thing anymore. I should go into the job sector. Then you go into the job sector. Maybe that's where things start working for you. So that's why the whole idea of sustainability matters. That's one thing I love about the Igbo people in Nigeria. Igbo people, that's a tribe in Nigeria. Their major aim, their major thing is they love businesses. They love business. Most majority of them, let's say about 90% of them are businessmen. One thing about them is even if they don't have customers in a month, they are still in their shops. They are still going to shop. Even if they don't have customers in 3 months, maybe they just have one customer, they will still be in their shops. But it will get to a day that things just happen miraculously. They start having as much customers as they can ever imagine. So that's where the whole idea, that's why I love the aspect of consistency you talked about. You are doing it, but you also need to be consistent. You also need to be showing up. Not necessarily that you are getting the people, you're not getting them there. You're not getting them there, but you just have to be there. You have to be there. Sometimes they will ask, sometimes you will network, sometimes you will tell them about it. Sometimes you just, you just have to share, tell them that, oh, yes, 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 we have it, we have this, we have that. You may not have it, but you just tell them that, okay, I have this. And when they ask you if you have the product, you tell them, okay, I'll get it tomorrow. I'll get it tomorrow. And not just tell them you get it tomorrow. Tomorrow you ensure tomorrow you have to ensure that you give them that thing they. So these are things that you consider. You don't just start a business. Yes, you start a business, but you have to sustain it. Sustain it by by actionable steps. By actionable steps, because it's not like saying, yes, I want to do it, I want to do it. It is easy. Words are cheap, but action is where everything shows up, because your mind actually gets when you see your mates doing it and your own is not working out. But left to me, I feel okay, just try to improve on what you are doing, and work on your brand name, work on building a brand and not just a logo. Yeah, we talked about that last week. Work on building a brand and not a logo. You build a very beautiful logo, very captivating logo. Logo captures everything. But when it comes to customers, people are going to people that don't even have the logo. They have the brand. They have the brand name. They have the name. So they just hear the name. Oh, you're talking about phones now, iPhone, Apple. People already know the name. So they just go there. They know about it. You can't compare Apple with Samsung, or you compare it with Techno and all that, because they already have the name. So you have to build a name, and pricing, talking about a lot of that. But like I always say, sustain it to start coming. But if you decide to relax, overtake you, then you will not be, then you start imagining, how will I start again? How can I start? Starting over is difficult anyway. It's difficult because someone has taken over the market. Then you end up closing the shop.
So
You close the business, then you begin to complain. These are things that happen.
yeah,
So we have to ensure we sustain our business.
see
Yeah.
what you
And another thing is, like I said, yeah, okay,
yeah, no, go ahead.
can go ahead. Okay. So another thing is the pricing. The pricing. When is it right for us to reduce price or increase price in a business? Because suppose some persons are kind of stingy, in the sense that they see, oh, people are coming, I have everybody, I have everyone, they are coming already. Then they just inflate the price.
Yeah,
So
see,
when is it right
it is
to
a very
inflate?
normal. It's a very normal thing to know from a price, purely from a price perspective. When somebody's for the product that you have, when there is a high demand or a very low competition, there's always a temptation to raise the price and make most of it because there is not much competition and the demand is high.
Yes.
Similarly, you can also say when you can look at lowering the prices when you're trying to penetrate a market with a new product or new market with the older product. Even then, you can think of reducing the price. But going beyond this notion of increasing the price or decreasing the price, again beyond the monetary value, the focus should be on increasing the value. How can you increase the value for the same price?
True.
How do you pursue
That's true.
that value? So this is where what you said as a brand comes into the picture. When you have a very strong brand, then you are justified to uh, raise the price because people will pursue the brand to be of that value. In certain sector like service sectors, you are justified to raise the price when the cost of your consumables or raw materials are increasing because the market is aware. Let's say government puts a tariff on one particular kind of raw material. Everybody in the market, right from the other competitor to the customer, everybody is aware that the costs have increased. So people will not mind when you increase the price. But in other cases, it is not that directly related. People don't relate the raw material cost to the final product or service. So what gives you the justified the notion to increase the prices? What kind of competition price is there? Whether you have increased the value of the offering and what is the brand strength. Similarly, you want to reduce the price. Are you entering a new market, or it is a new product you're entering existing market, or you are operating in a very competitive market where pricing has to be decreased? Sometimes, especially in the FMCG sector, like now with the fast-moving consumer group ecosystem, you cannot have a very long inventory. The shelf life will not be long. So you have an excess inventory, or the sales are moving out loud. You need to reduce prices, provide offers, discount, and reduce it up. But these are the scenarios only from a price perspective. Predominantly, the dynamics should be the customer should pursue, the customer should believe that you're offering the right kind of value, and that is the reason the offering is at a different kind of pricing. And that is where the notion of brand, as you told, brand is not just the logo, right? It's about the perception,
Yeah.
it's about the value that you give. Uh, Without that, people will not buy certain products which they see. Okay, you price the brands like Adidas and Nike, they will offer big ticket to buy those footwear. But some other new entrant they may not buy because of the value of perfection, quality, the brand that has been built over the years. So businesses when they build product or services, they should know the brand value that they define and how they exhibit that brand value to the customer. For example, when you introduce me, you're telling about what ideation is about, right? The name ideation comes from
Yeah.
ideas driven by passion. That is what it stands for. So when we bring ideas to fruition with very passionate efforts, that efforts are visible. The results are visible. Our passion in on the tech domain, in our delivery ecosystem, on the quality that we serve, the way that we enable customer. When that is driven by ideas and driven by passion, it becomes valuable to the customer. Then we are providing right value for the right money. But if we fail to do that, if you are not doing those things, we are not the passion into that is not being revealed, then we are not justified to demand what we want to demand. So there's a strong notion of the brand strength that plays into how the price point work in a market, irrespective of whether there's a competition or no competition. So you'll also always have to focus on value creation. Let's say you are offering a product at particular price point and you are getting a X amount of profit. You can still operate, sell at the same price point by efficiently improvising the process, improvising and investing in right amount of automation, right amount of human capital. You can reduce your expenditure, increase your profitability without changing the selling price by providing still the same value to the customer, but still as a business you are becoming much more profitable. So you will have to strategically look at how to improve the process efficiencies, know right kind of vendor ecosystem to buy quality raw materials at an optimal price point, automate where there is a need, invest in human capital, make them much more efficient in what they do. Once you are able to do this, you are at a choice. You are not driven by the market. You will not be driven by the competitor, but you will have a choice as to whether I am going to increase the price or I am going to decrease the price. Because if you are not thinking of building a value, not thinking on building effective and efficient processes, then the choice of the pricing goes from your hand into the hand of the competitor, into the hand of the customer, into the hand of the market dynamics. If you want to hold the power of the price point, you will have to build a strong brand, build a very effective and efficient business that can sell optimally with a very optimal expenditure.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, you've spoken really well. And one thing I loved about what you said is automation. We need to automate our business. It way something that will help you to ease you of certain stress. Things there are certain things that when with the computer, you may not need to bother yourself doing those things. You now generate money, more money for you. So there are some things that you can just automate your business, make it a situation where you don't need to be there all the time. You don't need to be there all the time, but things are going on even without your presence, but you are getting feedback. Yes, it's going well, it's going well. Yes, it's going well. These are things that also matters as well. It matters a lot. So we need to work on automating our business, and and also try to don't just inflate prices. Don't just inflate prices. Also understand that there are other people watching you. There are other people watching you. You got the product from someone, and when the person hears that, okay, the price you are selling it is very high, maybe he now hears that, oh, a lot of people are selling it on a high rate. That means the person will also try to increase the price more. It happens over here. There's this product, a donut. Yes, a donut. What happens? The donut is given from a particular company. The company now hears that, okay, the price that we gave it to them was 300 naira. Now, People are selling it 500 naira. You see the gap. They are selling it 500 naira. So the company now said, oh, since people are selling it 500 naira, it seems like maybe we should also increase our price because you decided to inflate it too much. It should have been 400 naira, right? So they now said, okay, we have to increase our price. They increased the cost price to 400 naira. Now these persons are not trying to increase it to 600 naira. People are not buying. People are not buying because they feel that it is not supposed to be that way. It's not supposed to be that way. They are no longer buying. These are things that happen. So we have to understand the pricing. If we are going to increase the price, we should understand the reason. Understand that okay, it should not be too much. It should be on a low rate. No, rate it. Rate what you are buying. Rate the cost price. Rate everything. Rate the profit. If there is really profit coming out of it, then it's fine. Don't need to increase the price too much because that could be one of the reasons why you're not seeing those people, those customers. You're not seeing some of them. It could be because you are over increasing the prices. But there's also something I've observed too. Some persons make a lot of risks. They make a lot of risks just to grab their customer. They make a lot of risks. There are so many risks they make, which I feel I would love to know because yeah, there are some risks that some businessmen and women use just because they want to get the customer. Some of them may just reduce the price. They decide to reduce the price. They reduce the price just because they want the customer. And then the customer now looks at it. Oh, you reduce the price. Why do you reduce the price? That means you have been lying to me at the beginning. That means the price could have been lower. So these are things that you now begin to take some unnecessary risks. Then these people they begin to devalue the product. They see the product as this product is no longer valuable anymore. Something happens. Another risk that some people take, they trying to know. We have to try to know what the company is risky anyway for us to go and meet the customer, the person's customer. We go ask the person, what is this person really doing? Is there something that we are not doing that is making you go there? Is it the maybe for example the packaging of the product, the way the person packages the product? Is it the communication? Is it that I don't communicate well? Is it that there's something that I'm not doing well? Just tell me. I want to know what is the reason behind this. So some people will now begin to ask some questions. Okay, I need to improve in my communication. That's something. So some risks that people take. So I also love to know maybe there are some risks that you've also taken at the ideation that maybe you could share that people can
Yeah.
get to know about that they can also apply to their business.
See, it doesn't matter. No, it doesn't matter the nature of business you are into or the size of business. You could be, running a 100 people organization. You could be a solopreneur with a one-person team, or it could be a small 10-member team, and doing any business in any kind of domain. What most businesses don't understand is that risk is by default there in any business of any size, and it is not a bad thing. Like it's like no, every opportunity has an element of risk. Every risk has a element of hidden opportunity. They are a side of coin, the same coin. So you need to know, understand like how you need to comprehend the risk and how do you handle it. Because looking at no, there's somebody was asking like, how do you be, how to win in this business? How do you overcome risk to win? There are no winning and losing. There's no like risk is a part of this journey. You win some, you lose some, you gather your learning and move ahead. Whether there's a competition and fine line, so that risk was there. But if you look only at the risk, you lose out on opportunity. So we have to work on mitigating the risk by adding the right manpower, educating the customer because the customer was new to the landscape of the digital transformation that they wanted in the business. So we have to educate the customer. By educated by the customer, we were able to reduce the risk by getting much more time for development. By putting the right domain expertise, by putting in the right technology expertise, we are further able to reduce the risk. So once you know the risk, there are multiple ways how do you handle the risk. Either you can accept the risk and it is going to be always there, go ahead and do the right thing that needs to be done, or you can avoid the risk by not at all taking up to an opportunity, or there are going to be other risks. For example, there's always a risk. You want to go on a bike ride there's a risk of injury. You mitigate the risk by wearing a helmet, having an insurance for bike, having a insurance accident insurance for yourself. The same applies to businesses. Many organizations don't understand that insurance is one of the core elements when you're operating business at a scale. You need to have different kind of insurances. No, corporate liability insurance. You should have a professional indemnity insurance, cyber security insurance, insurance for key personnel in your business, like all the C-suite team. So you transfer the risk of something happening. The liability is transferred to the insurance organization. Similarly, other strategy is reducing the chances of something going wrong or the risk actually becoming a reality. So there are going to be risks. You need to learn to mitigate the risk, accept it, avoid, if not transfer, if not reduce. By knowing those kind of strategy in related to the domain that you are operating, you can always convert a risk into opportunity. You can reduce the risk element available in opportunities that come across. But then again, you cannot look risk as only one part of it. It has to be looked from a very comprehensive part of the business. There is no risk, no escaping away from the risk. All businesses are going to have obstacles. There is nothing but the risk elements. You just need to plan on how you are going to handle that, and that is what is going to define whether you are going to be whether you are surviving, succeeding, or succumbing to the risk if you don't mitigate with in a right timely manner. So if you look at there are different terminologies today, right? We talk about when we talk about the world and the market, you talk it in terms of, you call it a VUCA world: volatile, uncertain, complex, ambiguous. That is how all the market dynamics is, and the nature of business is also evolving in that dynamics. You also know somebody that talks about VUCA world, somebody talks about no, the framework called Bani, which says no, organizations today operating this VUCA world, the organizations are brittle, the organizations are very anxious, organizations deal with non-linear situations, and they are incomprehensible. And by understanding these kind of frameworks, you can handle how do you mitigate risk, how do you overcome the risk, convert possibilities and opportunities to benefits of the organization. Because it is true, as the world is evolving, there is going to be volatility in the market, there is going to be complexities of business dynamics, there are going to be ambiguities, there are going to be uncertainties. How the businesses strategically overcome this, puts a plan, execute those plans, constantly monitor the impact of those plans. That is how they overall overcome the risk while creating the value for the organization.
Very much important. You spoke really well, and yeah, I just got to know about the vocal word. It's a very great one, and definitely, I believe the audience also a lot of things, a lot of strategies, a lot of steps, a lot of things are going on. But there's one thing I would love to say. This thing I love to say is everyone has their own customer. Everyone has their own customer. So no matter how you try your best to win the customer, who will come to you will come to you. That is just one thing that people always tell me. Who will come to you will come to you. No matter how you try to force them, you will always have your own customer. And one thing is, your customers are kind of a reflection of you. It is how you package your business. It is how you build your business that will determine the kind of people that come. For example, where we talked about pricing, where we talked about inflation of price and reduction of price, there is a difference when a store is in a store is in a, okay, let's say a supermarket has a product, and when a store in the streets has a product. These products are the same, but what happens? The prices are different. So, like I always say, the prices are different. The price of the product in the supermarket is different from the price in the just in the streets, right? So one thing is the packaging, the way you package it, the way you package the business, the way you the environment. The environment also matters. You understand? The everything, every important thing, everything that can make you different matters, because now you are talking about the rentage, the rent of the place your store is located also matters. So everything just, it matters, and this leads to an increased price. And most people, even the smell of the place also matters. There's a way you will enter a particular place, even you will shake, your body will shake, that you know that this place is different from a regular place. So I know if I'm going to pay money, it's going to be more. It's going to be more. There's this aroma, there's this feeling you have when you enter a particular place, that okay, there is something in this place. So the packaging, let us work on the packaging. Let's work on the way we can work on improving our business, so that people will be very much interested in what we are doing. And don't just look at it that yes, it's not good, it's not easy, there's no money, there's no this, there's no that, there's no support. Because yeah, one of the major things that people suffer is funding. Because yes, you want to make it the best, you have the biggest plan, biggest idea, biggest everything, but there's no support. There's no support to really do this. And because there's no support, you just end up relaxing and not doing things well. And those persons that are even your competitors, they have the money, they have the risk, they have the money, they have the idea, they have everything, and they use that to overpower you. So let's work on the packaging, let's work on the environment, and also work on trying to see how we can get more resources to really push our organization or our business to the next level. That's one thing that I feel we should work on. And also, I feel you also have some things to share, maybe some things to say before we move forward.
See, as you told, every customer, every business has its customer. They'll come to them. While that is true, you will have to show up first, and it has to reflect in how you deliver. There is a saying which said, "No, when you are passionate about something, when you truly believe and constantly desire and passionate about the something that you want, truly want, the world conspires to make it happen." So when you put that kind of passion towards business, eventually things fall in place. Just that being a competitive nature of the business, you cannot assume that things will always come to your doorstep. You will have to first open up the doorstep and be there when the outcomes are knocking. Doesn't matter whether it is your customers or somebody else's customer, you need to build with purpose. And this is something that I have seen over the last almost 12 years of my entrepreneurial journey. I have come across a lot of entrepreneurs, many successful, some failed, some learning and growing. We have seen different sizes. In fact, in yes, about 6 months back, we had done here back in India called Pivot with Purpose. It was kind of a self-learning, moderated program for people to understand their purpose and pivot careers or in the businesses. So while talking to people in that forum as part of the T1, especially a lot of there are also entrepreneurs. One thing that I observed was today everybody is talking about startups, everybody is talking about funding, market access, accelerators, incubation, and all that. Sometimes people get into doing a business without clarity, without knowing whether this is their cup of tea. Without having knowing who they are, they get into the business. Then they have their struggles, they have their journey. When they have their own internal struggles and journey on why they are doing a business, they cannot serve the customer in a rightful manner. So, as a startup, you need to understand, right? As a startup business, even before you can think about thriving, if you want to grow, you will have to understand on why, as a non, you got into that business in the first place. Because without that clarity, building a business in long term is not sustainable. Your efforts will not be able to sustain that. Because as statistics say, most businesses fail in the first 3 years. In fact, 99% fail. It could be various reasons. It could be capital, it could be lack of market fit, early to the market idea, all of that. But most one of the most common reason is the founder or the founders didn't start by internalizing, knowing their purpose and why they are doing it. So today, when we talk about business, businesses have to be purpose driven, but businesses need to have clarity. And I kind of know we always find parallels in what we do, our life experiences, wow, the people that we have spoken to, the books that we have read. So I kind of found it very fascinating. There's a Japanese philosophy of ikigai. It talks about personal happiness. When somebody will be personally happy, ikigai philosophy says that no, when you know what you love to do, what you like to do, are you good at doing that? If the world needs that, and is the world ready to pay for that? So if you are able to come to a space where what you love, you are also good at that, you have skills for that, and there is a need in the world for that, and the world is also ready to pay for that, then you are in a place where you are very much happy. You get to do what you love, you are good at, and the world is needing it, appreciating it, and also paying it. While this is a philosophy for an individual, this very aptly defines even at a startup business, the thought process should be that. Like, not think of ikigai for the business. Does the business, the team, or the individual, or the founder are really passionate about what they want to do? Are they really good at doing it? I could be passionate about one thing but not good at it. For example, I could be passionate about no food, but am I a good chef? Need not be the case. So it's about what you like is one thing, what you are good at. And if I, yes, I like food, I am good at cooking, but that cuisine, does the market need it? Is it good and value enough that they are going to pay for it? So the businesses should ask, are what they are doing, are they good at doing it? Are they passionate about doing it? Is there a demand in the market for that? Is the market pay the money for it? The, so it's like when you found the ikigai, this ikigai concept from the Japanese philosophy as a framework, also it's very aptly helps you saying whether you are in the right place. Even if one of those things is not going to work out, that means you are not able to going to last longer in the market. All of those four are required for the business to sustain. So this is one of the key framework that you could think of as a startup founder if you want to survive in the or enter into the market and grow. As you are growing, as you are learning, when the startups want to scale, you need to have a foundational thought process very clearly captured in certain tools like business canvas, knowing the entire landscape of who you are, what your value proposition are, who are your competitors, what are the cost dynamics, what are your markets, what are the challenges reaching the customer, who are your key partners in this ecosystem. You should translate all that in a very standard, very way in a business kind of canvas. And as you scale, you need to have a framework of no governance, risk, and compliance because businesses have to be appropriately governed so that they can look at all aspects of risk, all aspects of compliance. Because every business, depending on where they are operating, they are obligated for governmental compliances, regulatory compliances, or the promises that they keep towards their vendors and partners. You are obliged to fulfill them. And a very robust governance and risk compliance framework gives you the kind of solid foundation where you are able to deliver on all the promises, meet out all the objectives of your business in a very sustained manner. You are not just striving, you are just not succeeding, you are doing it in a very sustained manner. So, starting with the purpose, like a ikigai kind of notion towards business, having a solid business plan and business canvas in place, laying down a foundation for a governance, risk, and compliance framework that gives you the base by which your startup business can strive, succeed, sustain, and thrive in the longer run. Yeah.
But a lot of things, and they made a lot of sense. And I will just say this, I'll just share this, just this short line, which says, if you are valuable, you'll be sought out for. If you are valuable, you'll be sought out for. That means if you build a valuable business, people can go from far and wide to go and search for that business. So there's even something that someone said. He said, if you are searching for a very good business, a perfect way to know that this business is a good business is when you observe that foreigners go to that business. You are not just talking about people in that area. A lot of foreigners, people from different places are going there. That means that business is a good business. It is even when a business is competitive, that means a lot of people are in that niche. It means that that business is good. But if you observe only few persons are really doing this particular thing, it's like that business may not be that good. If you observe that some persons, maybe in Nigeria, I'll use Nigeria as an example, there are different markets. We have Mission Road, we have different places. They grouped all the stores together. That means those that are selling electronics, they are all together. Those that are selling clothes, they are all together. Those that are selling food stuff, they are all together. So that means they are like separate markets for everyone. That means you also have to understand how you treat your customers, because every people that need a particular product, we go to that market. Some of them don't even know you. They don't know you.
Even by here in India, we have a similar setup.
To get your product. So you have to consider, you have to understand that you have to you need new persons to come to your business. You need new persons to come to your business, because these people, they've not really bought something from you before, but they are just seeing it. They are seeing your store somewhere around there. They are seeing create a business that is sustainable. Again, create a business can bring foreigners, people from outside, they are coming. That means they see something really good in what you are doing. The way you, the time you open your store, look on the time you open your store, because those new persons, some of them will just be coming, they may just come, be coming, they will just be traveling, and they're just coming back from travel, and they see your business is open. Yes, you tell them yes, it's available and everything. So everything matters, it matters, but it's only a situation where maybe you are not in a busy place. A situation where you're not in a busy place, that's where maybe you may be a bit relaxed, because the people you are getting are just around that location. People you are getting are just around that location. It with those people, how you can even attract those customers. Like I love that idea of people, people going out of their comfort zone to talk to people they don't even know, trying to tell them that I have this, I have this, just come and check it out. Because as far as I'm seeing you in that market, the one thing I just feel, as far as I'm seeing you in that market, it seems like maybe you want to buy something, and possibly I could be the person you want to buy from. You understand? Leave that your comfort zone. Some places are, you see some stores, they are at the top layer, and that place you observe that most people cannot really go there. How can they climb to that place? And many of them can really go there. Sometimes they don't even have a customer in a day. But because they've left their comfort zone, they are going to fish for customers. Then they see customers. So you don't just have to, you need to get people, also get people that, they love the vision, they love what you're doing, they love the idea. They are ready to, also leave that comfort zone to get you those customers. So all this actually
So,
matters. So we can get the best result out of what we are doing.
so see, even the markets
So
in India, we have a lot
we'll
of
have a
markets.
very short break.
Yeah,
I'm listening.
sure. You'll have a break now?
You can proceed.
Yeah, okay. So as I was telling about the market, the physical markets, where marketplaces for no garments, food, spices, or any such consolidated markets. Those kind of markets are there almost in the developing countries to very developed countries. And at least one advantage that is there in that market is when you are physical, you look at your competitor, you know what the competitor is doing beyond the price. Is it the service? It is the variety that they offer, or is the way they handle the customer. So those businesses have an advantage of looking at the competition, learn from the competition, be creative, be adaptive, be responsive to the customer, and learn. But there are also a lot of businesses which are not physically co-located. That means you don't get to see what your competitor is doing. In a nearby shop, you can always see whether the competitor is
Yes.
talking nicely to the customer or not, whether he's having much more unique product, is he selling for some lesser price. But today in a digital world, we don't know what the competitor is doing. We don't know the internal dynamics of the competitor. We only see
Yeah.
the offering on an e-commerce platform or the way they do the service. So that makes it much more challenging for businesses to compete. So domain to domain, nature of business, depending on the scale of business, the approach to customer centricity, approach to competition will change. So again, no, that is a very similar thing. There are two. If you have to narrow down, there are only two things: the external world outside the business and what is there inside the business. You should understand the market dynamics, which involves the governmental norms, which involves the competitors, which involves the other stakeholders, whereas internally about what is the product that you have, what is the people team, whether it's the sales team, service team, or your own vendors, what is the strength and weaknesses that you have within the organization, so that outside in the market, how do you tap into the opportunities, how do you tap into the threats. So by understanding the external ecosystem, by understanding the internal ecosystem, you can play to the competition, you can serve the customers and be profitable, be a sustaining and thriving business. Yeah.
Once more, thank you so much, Imthyaz Sheriff. We sincerely appreciate you for being with us. We'll have a very
Thank
short
you.
break where we are going to share Future Setters audio play. Okay, you are welcome. So we'll just have a very short break, I think for about a minute, while we listen to Future Setters audio play.
Welcome to Future Setters Institute, where we believe in empowering individuals to create a lasting impact in the world. Whether you are a student, a young professional, a coach, or a leader, this is your platform for growth, collaboration, and transformation. At Future Setters Institute, our mission is clear: empower young minds to reach their full potential, provide mentorship, training, and opportunities for personal and professional development. We foster a strong support system because no one should feel alone on their journey. Our vision is to become a renowned training institute for leaders, a certified training and certification hub, and a trusted resource for individuals and families across Nigeria and Africa. What sets us apart? Accessibility. Our coaches and mentors are always within reach. Trust, efficiency, and professionalism. We are dedicated to excellence. Collaboration, bringing together professionals from all fields to inspire change. Growth and innovation, staying ahead and adapting to the world's evolving needs. People-centric approach, you are at the heart of everything we do. We care about you and we are ready to shaping everything we do in line with what you need. Join our community on Facebook and connect with like-minded individuals. Participate in our programs, mentorship sessions, and challenges. Follow us on our social media and stay updated on life-changing opportunities. Share your journey and engage with others to build a strong network of future setters. Let us grow together. The future belongs to those who prepare for it. Are you ready to take the next step? Join us today and become part of something greater. You need to become a future setter. Future setter. Future setter. God bless you.
Once more, we do sincerely appreciate each and every one of you for being with us at today's Youth Development Show. Today is episode 21, and it was a very much interactive session, and we learned a lot from our doctor, the person of Dr. Imthyaz Sheriff from India, a great man who talked on how we should build sustainable businesses and also take our businesses more seriously, and also understand that the world is competitive. And if we decide to relax, we decide to we're not just interested in competing with people. The competition is not the major focus, but the major focus is collaborating for growth. So you try your possible best to know the things that the competitors are doing are better than you, or if possible, maybe some businesses that you are unable to know the things that the competitors are doing better than you, but you can actually improve, because for people to leave you and go to someone else, that means there has to be something you are not doing that you need to do. So you do your research, do your findings, you can observe, you can take your time to just assess your business and know where you need to really improve on. Then Okay, so once more, I want to sincerely appreciate each and every one of you for Setters Youth Development Show today. And I want to sincerely appreciate Dr. Imthyaz Sheriff. Thank you so much for making our time to be with very tough one. It has been really challenging. Today was not really the way it used to be because the network, because of the rain and some challenges, but we're still able to handle it because sometimes it happens this way because of the work interruptions in Nigeria. But we thank God we handle our session for today. Once more, I do sincerely appreciate you and look forward to greater collaborations, greater opportunity. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Victor, for this opportunity. It was nice talking to
So
you.
if there is in one, sure.
Yeah. So it was a really good conversing, hearing the stories and thought process and how things are there in Nigeria and how the business thought process comes. So it was a really good conversation. Looking forward for more such in future.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I do sincerely appreciate everyone, each and every one of you, guests, everyone that has supported us to take us to the level we are. I do sincerely appreciate you.
Thank you.
Okay, once more, I do sincerely appreciate each and every one of you. We look forward to greater opportunities together and a greater session come next week, Sunday, where we are going to be interacting on this coming Sunday is going to be on mental health. You know, how to build a better mental health, a good mental from Mexico. He's a very great man. He's a mental health coach, and you know, a lot of people struggle with brain challenges. You know, they feel so they just don't believe in themselves. They have low self-esteem, suffer from anxiety, a lot of things like that. So he's going to talk to us on this. It's going to be a very great opportunity to interact with him as well. Founder and CEO Ideasin. We look forward to greater opportunities together.